This is the Starlight Express Alumni Podcast.
Hi, my name is Meera Popkin, and I'm a Starlight Express alum. And my Starlight Express journey actually began in college. I was at Indiana University, and there was a musical theater class, and all the musical theater people that were studying musical theater at the time were learning how to sing and dance and act in the university. And there was a girl named Meg Tolan, who you may know, who actually went to the city and saw the show, and she came back to IU after seeing the show and just really loved it. She boasted about it and really went, said that it was just a wonderful show and how great it was. And she explained that it was on skates and how wonderful it was. And so after that point, I was a little like, well, maybe I should gear my, sights on that kind of show or doing that, because I was obviously at the time in the university trying to set my sights on what my career was going to be. And then I was in the Red Steppers, which was a Indiana University halftime performers. They were the girls that performed at the halftime in the football games.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a girl there who was the choreographer, and Starlight Express came up again. There was someone that mentioned it, and she said, well, I happen to know the dance captain, Denny Shearer, and maybe I could, put you in touch with him. So I graduated from Indiana University with a Bachelor of Arts in Musical Theater, and I ended up going to upstate New York to do summer stock. So there's a group of us up there. We're all doing summer stock, and we have a day off. And the person, one of the people up there said, why don't we go down to New York on our day off and see what's going on? And so just so happened that day that was our day off, there was an audition for Starlight Express in New York City. And I think it was at the Minskoff. I'm not sure if it was 890 Broadway or one of those two or anything. I can't remember exactly where it was. But we went there, and lo and behold, I get there, and there's Denny Shearer. And I went inside. I somehow got, my name and everything in, and there was Dawn Marie Church, and she was taking off her skates, and I didn't have skates because I had never roller skated in my entire life. And I asked her, I said, can I use your skates? Can I borrow your skates? And she was like, sure. And so I guess we were the same size. So I put her skates on, and I could not skate for the life of me. I just somehow managed to do the best I could. And I just worked it from the waist up. It was like all that dance experience that I had. I just decided that my upper body was going to explain my routine. And Arlene and Tara Rubin, their jaws, I remember for some reason, their jaws just wide open, just dropped, because I was really, I was very young, very energetic. I was at that age where I was like, I'm working this. I'm going to get this job. And and so I just have this clear vision, a picture of their jaws dropping while I'm just working it from the waist up. So then 3 days later, I go back up to upstate New York to do my summer stock, and there's a payphone. I guess I must have given the payphone number to someone in terms of who to call me, because it was like my first job out of college. And I get the phone call 3 days later at that payphone, and they're like, they offer me a swing position. So they're like, would you like to be an alternate or a swing in Starlight Express? So I was like, I had no scope. I had no concept of how good this was, how bad this was. I didn't know if this was a good career move or if it was something that I wanted to do. And so I thought it over, and I was like, okay, I'll do it. And I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I had the whole summer to practice up in upstate. And, you know, believe it or not, Seth Cohen, I don't know if you remember him, he was the director at the time upstate. And he comes up to me and I'm like practicing for the Call Me Madam or Brigadoon, you know, and he's like, do you know that you just got a national tour? Do you have any idea of the scope of this? And I'm like, well, don't we have to do Call Me Madam? You know, I'm just like totally into what we're doing because I don't know that a national tour is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So then when we go down to New York and it's that fall and I get my apartment, I meet Rochelle Rack, I meet all the different people, and we start to make friends, and it starts to become just like trying to do the best I can. It was literally, I knew I was the worst skater. It was so funny. My sister, she came to visit me one time, and she said she was outside the stage door and she saw all the people roller skating by. And she said that all these people were like, you know, skating, kind of going along, doing their skate thing. And then all of a sudden she saw me. And I was slow-mo, just like really slow going by, just the slowest one. And what's so funny is that I'm not bragging on me or anything like that. It's actually credited to Michael Fraley and all the people that helped with the skating and everything, because by the end of the national tour, the journey of the national was such that I went from being the worst skater to doing Pearl. Mm. And that says a lot for the staff, because to be able to do a 1-foot spin and pull that off, you know, after literally being the worst, it is something to say you're happy about. And Michael Fraley was so wonderful. It was a slow start, but then, you know, I did most of the roles. I did all the girl roles. I remember I went on for just about every girl. And so when the national started to roll along, I started to really just try to be the best performer I could possibly be. I wanted to make career moves and plot sort of like my ducks in a row for getting a career going. I had been dancing since I was 5 years old and singing since college or high school. And I wanted to try to be a star and be successful and be successful in the theater. And so when I would do the roles and when I would do the shows, I had that in the back of my mind that I really wanted to try to succeed. And it was about that. It was all about, you know, making sure you did all the moves, making sure you were cooperating, making sure you were happy, making sure that you were listening to everyone and trying to be someone good to work with, and just do all the creativity and artistic, you know, dance steps and singing as best you could. And we practice and practice. And what's interesting is that along with making a lot of friends, and the national tour was like a family, I was lucky enough to work with Jimmy Lockett, who at the time was into a human potential organization. And he started me on a journey within a journey where I was studying to actualize my potential. And I tried so hard to be diligent and work hard and focus and concentrate and be able to do the human potential organization at the same time of doing Starlight. And, you know, both of them kind of went together because they complemented each other, where I was able to be the best performer that I could possibly be, and then also be the best human person, you know, being that I could possibly be. And
you know what? I'm sorry.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was fascinating because I know a couple of Starlight alumni spoke about the character of the performer that it took to do a show like Starlight Express, and there was a certain kind of heart and mindset and spirit that was needed to do a show like that. And so it sounded like that you definitely, obviously you had it, and they saw it, they being, the powers that be that made the decision to bring us cast members on board. And so it's fascinating to hear your journey, how it built up and what you did and what you came to, and then what you're learning. And so I didn't mean to interrupt, but go ahead.
No, not at all.
Fascinating.
Well, it's interesting because, I mean, when you are engaging your body to such a degree with the energy that is involved in not just singing, dancing, and acting, but skating too, and the physicality of it, the athleticism of it, you're finding yourself putting yourself out 100%, every time, 8 shows a week. And right out of college, doing 8 shows a week, that's a big, that's sort of like, whoa, all of a sudden I'm training myself to be able to do this. And that's what it's really about. That's something that they necessarily teach you is the stamina and ability that you need to be able to do 8 shows a week. And you find yourself in the training being able to do that. And, the Vegas was kind of the same thing, where I was still studying with Jimmy, and this is like 2-3 years later. And, it was like just engaging yourself and being able to, at sort of like this consistency over time concept, where you just put yourself out there and put your energies into the moves, into the singing, into the dancing, into the acting, and you have that consistency over time, where it becomes like a meditation and a ritual in a way, that hard work and motivation and dedication gives you, because at this time when I'm in Vegas, I sort of have a few, knots in my belt where I have some shows behind me. So I'm able to now with sort of ease at this point do the 8 shows a week. Now, not to be a Debbie Downer or anything, but then I got sick. So it kind of changed the purpose a little bit. At first it was about, career and trying to be a star and be successful. And, after that point, it wasn't about that anymore. It was about trying to be an inspiration. And when people Google me, they're able to see, someone who got sick was able, with the help of human potential boost, able to do these things. This is someone that had a sickness and did not know it. And this is someone that was able to do 8 shows a week with this disadvantage. And that it wasn't about being a star anymore. And it wasn't about having a career or anything like that. It was, about being an inspiration and making it about being able to do that with an illness.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's fascinating because with me, I work with again having a martial arts school. I've been doing it for about over 20 years now, and I started off thinking, thinking one way, but where it brought me is like so far from what I initially thought that I would be doing and what I would be accomplishing, how I would be affecting my own life and others' lives. And it's this whole journey. And so Starlight began a journey for you. And then, of course, through that journey, you met many like Jimmy Lockett, and then you started growing, and then all of a sudden life just continued. So you went from thinking one goal, and then all of a sudden it just changed onto that. When did that happen? While were you doing the show in Vegas?
Yeah, when I was Ashley. And it's funny because the show, as we know, is about believing in yourself and overcoming bullying or overcoming, your challenges. And what's interesting is, I believe it or not, while doing the show, I never registered that this was about bullying. It, to me, it was so funny or about believing in yourself. And it's
Mm-hmm.
only until in retrospect that I said, oh my gosh, this is about believing in yourself. I don't know where I was, like if I was just into the singing and dancing and trying to, do the moves and stuff like that. But only in retrospect did I say to myself, oh my gosh, this show became about our lives, or my life, where it's like that when you're down and you're out, that whole concept. Okay, you get sick, but you can still do Shrek, and you can still have a family and get married and raise a family, in Indiana, and do a little theater on the side. I mean, it's just a realization that believing in yourself is not just a show. It's reality. It's real. And being, beauty for ashes. I know that may be a little cliche-ish, but that's what it was. It was having beauty for ashes, where I just decided that I was still going to try to live a good life, and maybe I wasn't going to be a star, or maybe if I hadn't moved, from New York to Indiana, I would still be doing some theater. I don't know. But literally, I mean, the whole change became about just trying to believe in yourself and being safe and being real and understanding life at that point.
Wow. Well, it's great. Well, I say I start these interviews speaking with you, of those of you that come on, with these questions, about the journey. And again, most of you guys, and you did it beautifully. You answered all these questions, and you spoke about your experience in the audition, and then a bit of the rehearsal process, learning how to skate and overcoming that incredible physical challenge, and then also bringing it all together, and then learning about yourself and how the show does connect to. There's certain aspects. A lot of people put the show down. I heard that from some of the alumni with that the show was put down a lot. But then when you look deeper at the simple story, that's more really powerful. I start hearing that now from those of us that reflect. And then you're speaking about some of the lessons that you've learned, some of the life lessons that you learned, that you took from your life, and part of them came through your experience with Starlight Express. And so what are some of the passions? I know there. I believe you write as well, right? So what are some things that you do that are just your passion these days?
Okay, so lately I have a house back in Indiana, right near the university, and because of my degree that I have through the university, I'm able to teach. So I actually I guest teach, and I do K through 12, and it's part-time for me, which is perfect because I'm able then to care for my family and my house, and I have two children that are teenagers now, and I've raised them here in Indiana in this little house on a hill, and I have a husband that I met in New York that is wonderful to me, and I'm so grateful for him. We just literally live our lives day to day. It's like going from urban to rural. It's literally just this quaint little house with a nice little backyard, and the kids are going to some of the schools that I actually went to when I was young. I'm able to be with the children during the day. Sometimes I teach special ed, which is helpful. Sometimes I do K through 12, any of the grades. The kids are wonderful. They do their math and their science and their social studies and their English, and they do their specials, and they have a great time. And it suits me. The lifestyle suits me. I'm very glad. I'm very happy. I love my family. I actually have my parents right nearby. They're like 3 minutes away, and I have a lot of family to support me. I have, like I said, I mean, I have the help of my husband and my family, but I'm also self-sufficient in the way that I provide for myself. And that's basically it. Just a day in a life. Sometimes I work, sometimes I stay at home and putter about. I did do some writing. I wrote about 7 books. They're small books. They're not that big of a deal. They range from poetry to quotes to music. I wrote some music. I got someone to transcribe some music from some singing that I had done, and that person put it onto the page. And I actually have a book that's called More Than Medication, that is a story about being compliant and being on medication. And then I have a poetry book, like I said, and I have a princess story book that I wrote, as well as another kind of quote book that I wrote. And so, it's funny. It's a simple life. It's not the glamour and the glitz of fame and fortune, but it's having a family and settling down and trying to be a good mom. And I love my family. I love my simple life. Of course, there is a local group called Cardinal Stage that Randy White was really nice. He was able to let me be in the show Shrek, and I was able to do that. And so sometimes I go to theater with friends. Like basically, instead of performing in the theater, I go to the theater and we sit in the audience and really enjoy the theater. And we go to the opera, we go to the ballet, and I'm 53. Actually, today's my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
I'm 53 years old today. And I would like to, I think I still have some kick left in me. I think I would just, if I can get in Cardinal Stage at some point. There's a new director there now, and if I can try to audition for them. They're doing Newsies this Christmas season, and we're going skiing this Christmas. And then my folks are taking the family to Lake Mohonk, upstate New York, to go to a resort, Lake Mohonk house up there in the summer. And so that's all. It's kind of like a suburban life, just like chilling and just living the life and cooking pizza and that whole thing. So
Sounds wonderful. I love it. Yeah, because I reflect back. I'm going to be 59, and so
oh my goodness.
I'm in that place in my life where I'm thinking. I've been to. I tell this to my kids, to my students. I said I've been to the mountaintop, and I see there's bigger mountains around me. Down to the valley to get to the next mountaintop, but I've been to the mountaintop, and it was a hard climb up, and I'm going down really fast. But my hope is to last till 100, because my vision for me, and I always talk about vision, is I see myself celebrating my 100th birthday. I really want to live to my 100th, because it's the right time to make an impact and share in others' lives. So I'm in that place in my life. I'm looking at legacy. How are people going to remember me? And
well, what's funny is that maybe you should know this, is that I can't remember. I think it was 2009. I can't remember exactly what year, but I went to a Tae Kwon Do place, and I got a second degree black belt.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was funny. It was, but I have to say that what's funny is as the timing of taking the classes was during the kids' classes. So let's just say I never was really with a lot of the black belts. So it's probably kind of, the fact that I got a black belt was a little bit, funny, because I was always with the kids' classes. So, because that worked out with preschool of when I would, go, the timing of it to pick them up and drop them off.
Because I have parents, we have a family class, and I have parents, they want to train, and they come in and they do we always tell them, do your best, forget the rest. And everyone has their mountains to climb, their journey. And I really help our instructors never to don't judge anyone. Everyone's here for their reasons, their best, and everyone earns their rank. So congratulations on that. That's
thank you.
Many people will start the journey but don't get to first degree, and those that do, few of them get to second. So congratulations. That'd be awesome.
Well, it's interesting because it was just a way of being active and doing something that was inspirational too. at the time, and then when I started teaching, I had more time to devote to the school system here. So yeah, that's
That's
basically
cool. I love, I
yeah.
love, I love your journey. I love your story. And I love
Thank you, Peter.
I love where you are now and giving.
It's
And
so good to talk to you.
it's funny because this is something I keep thinking of when I speak to you, to you,
Yeah.
is that, gosh, if I only knew then how important this journey was for me, I would have given a
Mm-hmm.
lot more attention and connected with many more people in a deeper way.
Yeah,
And now I'm,
yeah. I guess, being that grateful idea of like, you never know if it can be taken away and taken it for granted and all the people that are there. And
yeah,
it's funny because sometimes you just feel like, where did it all go?
yeah,
It's like I have my neighbors, I have, my school, I have my kids, I have my family. And I just think to myself, where did coming through that hatch go? You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
it's like that skate warm up and everyone's swirling around and yeah, who's going on tonight? And is it
mm,
going to be Ricky Mujica and all the swings sticking together and being happy, and Nelson Yee and all those guys,
mm,
it's just, we had such a support system and you do miss the energy. You do miss the thrill and the excitement, of it, and
what's your greatest memory from doing the show?
that 1 foot spin.
That 1 foot spin.
Yeah.
How hard did you work for that?
I really worked on it. Michael Fairley really helped me. I think the best moment was literally just that it's a dancer's high,
Mm,
like doing ballet since 5 years old. I think it's a dancer's high to just be up in the air and you hear the wind in your ears.
mm,
It's just that moment where you're spinning around and the toe stop is right in the right spot where it's right between the wheel and the toe stop,
mm,
and you go up on it. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to make it around, and you go and it's like a perfect pirouette,
mm,
and you just go up and you spin around and you're suspended in air, and then you come down and you just go, oh my gosh, I landed it. And you just can't, you just go on. And I think that also one really good moment is Starlight, is light at the end of the tunnel.
mm.
The light at the end of the tunnel, that just going starlight with the arms going up and then jazz hands like at the end.
Yes.
I think that that was like one of the really, really significant moments, was just like that not triumphant, but just that satisfying feeling of thinking we did a good show. We did our 8 shows a week and we did a really good job.
Wow. I know there was many a nights where that would go up and it was almost like as soon as we did that last light, and then it would be like that breath. It was once we really didn't have a curtain, but when the curtain the lights went out, it was like, yes, I got through it. It was at some shows like, but thank you so much for sharing.
You're
This is
welcome. It's so
beautiful.
good
Thank
to
you
hear
so
your
much. It's
voice.
great
Oh my
to hear
goodness.
you, and it's awesome to hear your story, your journey. I love what you're doing. And now we have fans around the world that's listening. This podcast is really taken off, and it's because of you guys and your stories and being genuine and in a way transparent. So we have fans listening. We have the alum, all the other alum listening and following. And yesterday I had who was it? Garland Day said he listens to the audio during his job, and he's just enjoying this so much. So I want to give you the last word. What do you want to say to all the fans, the alum, and the ones that are currently doing the show, and those that will be doing the show? Because the show is still happening in Germany, and the fans. What would you like to say to them?
I would like to say that even through challenges, even through mental illness, even through anything you go through, you can still believe in yourself and accomplish your dreams. And that, in any situation, you're able to, even if it is a local company, like Cardinal Stage, that can get you on stage, or if it takes a different form, if your achievement and your satisfaction and your happiness is in the small things, just reading a book or being able to sit outside in the backyard with your kids and watching them play on the swing set, It's in the little things, and the blessings of life are abundant. The forces that are for you are greater than the forces that are against you. And in life, you can always access the blessing in life. Even, it doesn't matter how hard it gets. Just, wiggle your toes. And, it's like just the simple thing of ability to being able to access the blessing in life. And enjoy that moment. Enjoy the moments of life, and really take to heart everything, the yeses in your life. When it comes to a crossroads and it's between a yes or a no, really think, okay, should I say yes or should I say no? And at that crossroads, be like, was this a good step that I really wanted to take? Think of all the outcomes and what the results are going to be from your decision, and really make the decision that you want to make, and consider the people that it's affecting, and be able to consider someone else's feelings, and be happy with your choice.
Thank you so much, Meera. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you, Peter.
You have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Thank you, everyone, for joining me on this episode of Starlight Express Alumni Podcast. Next week, I will get together with another alumni. Be sure to subscribe. You can subscribe right here on the website at starlightexpress.club. We are definitely on the iTunes and Stitcher, and we're looking to get on the other platforms, so make sure you check there, subscribe there, and stay connected. If you are a Starlight alumni, please be sure to reach out to me if you would like to be on the podcast. Would love to hear your stories and share your story with the Starlight Express fans and other alumni. Look forward to sharing with you next week. Everyone, have a great day.